Well, you all must have heard I'm a real nerd. People say I'm a fool, but they never got the news that I'm a wild one. Oh yeah, I'm a wild one. You better turn it up, better keep the channel dialed, 'cause you're watching VileMike and his real wild child. Oh yeah, I'm a wild one. You better turn it up, better keep the channel dialed, 'cause you're watching VileMike and his real wild child.
Jafar, buy an SD game swap. Creed.
Howdy, folks. It's VileMike here. How's everyone going so far?
Good.
All right. So before the stream, MB was talking about the pit, and I was telling him I didn't really like it as much, or at least I'm refusing to watch it right now because of how they treated the Michael Crichton estate. Because I'm a huge Michael Crichton fan.
Well, what intrigues me about the show is my grandmother was an ER nurse for 35 years. Always worked night shift, pretty much her entire career. So it's kind of interesting to watch, because when you were watching like ER or any of those other procedural shows, you know, everything's done in an hour and, you know, all that. Here you're getting the full 15 hours of a shift. And I'm like, oh, man, my grandmother used to have stories about some of those nights. And
Sorry, what was that?
And then she actually worked at a hospital in Pittsburgh. Because we lived in Weirton, West Virginia, right at the tip of West Virginia. And let's just say at that time in the 80s, West Virginians didn't like outsiders.
Well,
no, my grandmother couldn't get a job at a hospital in near in West Virginia, so that's why she had to go to Pittsburgh. They would not hire her. Mind you, all this is back in the 80s, so it's not like the laws are like they are now.
Hey, I thought we weren't allowed to talk about political stuff.
Hey, since this is Star Wars Day, has anybody heard any official reviews about the new show Star Wars: Tales of the Underworld that dropped this morning?
No, I have not.
No.
I didn't even know it hit.
Yeah, it dropped this morning.
Is that one of those short ones? Those ones they do for like 5-10 minutes?
It's called Star Wars: Tales of the Underworld. I'll tell you how long an episode is in just a moment as soon as it clicks in here.
Probably about 15 minutes.
It's got to be like the Tales of the Empire ones that they did, which were only like 5 to 10 minutes.
Is that on Disney Plus?
Yes, it's about 16, 20-minute episodes, yeah.
So anyway, Mike, you wanted to talk about, you saw the first episode of Andor?
Yeah, I started watching it yesterday, finished it this morning, and the only reason I didn't finish it yesterday was because I fell asleep during it. This is becoming a running theme of Andor, that for some reason, it's putting me to sleep. The first 3 episodes of season 1 did that, and so far season 1 has done that once already.
I actually I've only watched up to episode 4, but episode 4 was a bit like that for me. There wasn't anything going on at all. Like there was a lot of like setting stuff up for future activity, but it was just.
See,
yeah, it's counting down the line. You notice the year, it's counting down.
So anyway, What is going on is this is how the timeline is working. The first 12 episodes are 5 BBY, and then the first 3 episodes of season 2 are 4 BBY. 4 through 6 are 3 BBY. 6 through 9 are 2,
You're getting wrong information.
No, I'm not.
Yeah, 3.
How you doing, Positive Candor?
Yeah, that's what he just said.
I thought he said 4.
No, he said 3 BBY for the.
Oh, my apologies, dude. Sorry, I misheard you. I apologize.
Yeah, 6 through 9 are 2 BBY, and then the last 3 episodes will be 1 BBY leading into Rogue One.
Yeah, there's rumor that Palpatine may make an appearance.
I thought they said that was just too much of a thing to bring in.
A holographic Palpatine in shadow and without his full face. That'll work. I'm like, yeah, he's the Emperor. He's in charge. These are the battle plans. Yeah, it would make sense if they have a holographic Emperor in the last season. No Vader, just the Emperor.
Anyway, I still have to watch 2 more episodes before a roundtable later today. So I probably won't stay here for too long. Because I've got to go do that. Plus groceries.
Well, what time does that start?
5 or 6, depending on. Is it 6?
I believe it's 6 o'clock.
Okay.
Well, it's 6 o'clock tonight, though.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to end up missing it because, unfortunately, today I've got to work for 10 hours after the stream. And that's after getting a whopping 30 minutes of sleep tonight.
You need a larger coffee cup, man. See, look at this. This is This is actually a 14-ounce coffee cup.
I need to make more tea.
And that's the Imperial BB-8.
Yep, and a better shirt, man. Come on, it's Star Wars Day.
Look, I only have one Star Wars shirt, and it wasn't in Mexico, and I didn't have time to go home, really.
Did anybody dye their milk blue just cuz?
I'm lactose intolerant. I can't have milk.
But my French vanilla creamer comes in a blue jug. Does that count?
Yep, absolutely.
Okay.
I'm not cast. I'm not having cereal every day at Mama's.
Nice.
And I may not have a lot of Star Wars stuff in the car, but I do have my ship.
Nice. Yeah, well, I have a black saber in my icon, NB. Haha.
I have nothing Star Warsy. I suppose I could go stick some blue food coloring in my milk, though, but it would just disappear because I put it in my tea anyway. So.
Well, I've also got this little setup.
I could make pea flower tea, and that's like blue pea flower. Like it's like a tropical flower, but it like turns the tea like super blue, and then I could add milk to that.
You know, I think I'm in the mood for a little brown sugar in my coffee.
It's a little Kylo Ren, a little clone trooper, and a speeder bike.
Nice.
Why do you guys ruin the taste of coffee by adding stuff to it? Oh.
No, my wife told me about it after she got back from Afghanistan, I think, and it was somebody there had offered her brown sugar, and she tried it, and I got to be honest, it's actually better tasting. And I just normally drink mine plain, but every now and again,
like actual brown sugar or just raw sugar?
Brown sugar is pretty good. Yeah, brown sugar tastes sweet, sweetening coffee better than regular white sugar. But coffee is coffee. It should not be introduced with any other objects. It should be pure coffee.
Hey, every now and again, I like to treat myself.
The only thing that should be added to coffee is chocolate.
I freely admit I add my French vanilla creamer and, you know, my whiskey.
Okay, whiskey and chocolate.
You have to go work for 10 hours.
Yep.
Okay, whiskey and chocolate should be on the thing.
After sleeping for only half an hour and having to work for 10 hours, I'm drinking whiskey in the morning with my coffee.
Is there a particular reason for the only 30 minutes of sleep? Did you like have to stay up or you just couldn't sleep?
Oh, me and Mrs. Vile went to a concert last night in Tijuana for a band that she really enjoys.
Nice.
If you want to think about what they do, it's kind of like Mexican Daft Punk with polka influences.
Wow.
I have no idea how to even figure that one out.
Okay, so and they started actually in Tijuana. Their music has been in a few car commercials. It was on a single video game soundtrack that I was able to look up. Nothing major. It was just FIFA. But they've got like a full, not a full, but a partial orchestra or a symphony type thing. And it includes, a big tuba / sousaphone player, a guy on an accordion, and then they do techno beats with it. It's fairly interesting. If you want another big song, apparently it's called oh god, she's gonna get so mad at me for not remembering this. Tijuana. Well, one of them is Tijuana Makes Me Happy, but that was not the big one. That was the one that was in the FIFA soundtrack. But their big one is like Tijuana Sound Machine. There we go. Tijuana Sound Machine.
So it's sort of like a Mexican version of the Smengi Brothers.
I don't know who that is.
Oh.
You mean the Smother Brothers?
No. Did you guys, I guess, never watched SCTV? Never mind. Like an early show that had like Eugene Levy and John Candy and all those people. I'll find you guys a link. But it won't be anything like that. I was just being silly. But anyway, let me find you a link so you can check out. I'm pretty sure it's the Schmengi Brothers.
Well, as I said, to me, they were very Daft Punk with the, the techno stuff. And you could easily hear that there was a lot of, Polish polka in a lot of the instrumentations. But it's like, whatever. Okay. I'm not going to go more into it, but after we left the concert, we got to her house about 10 o'clock-ish, maybe a little after. But it took me 4 hours to go through the line at the border, and then I had to spend an additional hour in secondary inspection.
Sheesh.
So by the time I left secondary and got home, it was after 3:30 in the morning. So by the time I actually got into bed, it was closer to 4. And then, of course, I forgot to turn off my alarm, which goes off at 4:30.
That's why I said you need a bigger cup of coffee.
Hey,
Well,
so Mike, talking about Andor.
I've got this one, and this is my second one of these. So
Mike, talking about Andor, this annoys
Well,
the shit out of anybody who's ever read the EU as deep as so many of us had, because all of a sudden they're like, oh, gay is in Star Wars now because 2 women actually had a kissing. And we're all just like, everybody I know who's part of the EU and stuff that I follow, we're all like, dude, we've had gay characters in Star Wars since the fucking 90s.
So this is the Schmengi Brothers with their tribute to John Williams. That link. I thought that would be appropriate for you to check out. I'm sure it's nothing at all like this band you're talking about. They're like,
you know what the thing was, Eli? You know what the thing was, Elihu? Nobody gave a shit.
Yeah, who cares?
But just to go back to what Danny Lane was saying, go ahead and look up the songs I was telling you about. Listen to them because, as I said, they're kind of weird in my opinion, but they're not bad. And I'll check out yours and we can compare and contrast next week.
sure.
Because I know, like, I'm not gonna have a midweek stream this week. I just don't. I'm not gonna have any time.
So
This week's gonna suck.
What I was saying is, it's like all of us we're jumping on these people. We're like, you fucking idiot. We've had gay characters in the EU since the freaking 90s. Nobody gave a shit. Nobody even gave it a thought. We talked about the book. If there was a new book that came out, if there was possibly gay characters in it, nobody talked about their sexuality. We talked about the characters. I don't know what's up with everybody and being so obsessed with sex and saying, oh, this is the first time. It's like, no, it's not by a long shot.
Nobody cared when what's her name was trans and aliens.
Well, that also wasn't really visible until the Laserdisc release of that of the director's cut. So, yeah, no one really could tell because it was only on screen for a fraction of a second.
I don't even know anything about that. Wouldn't interest. It doesn't matter to me.
But
I always thought it was funny that everybody got pissed off all of a sudden about what's her name, the actor who also played in T2.
Robert Patrick?
No, not Robert Patrick.
Eddie Furlong?
The female. The one who played John's foster mom.
Oh, yeah, she was in Aliens too.
Yeah, she was Vasquez, right?
Yeah, Vasquez. Yeah, the trans soldier.
And
Vasquez wasn't trans.
all of a sudden,
I thought it was.
these 30, 40 some odd years later, they're bitching about, oh, she was playing a Mexican. Who gives a shit?
Well, as far as I'm concerned, she was just playing somebody with a Mexican last name. That doesn't mean they're Mexican.
Yeah, exactly.
When do people can complain that a Puerto Rican played a Russian? Come on, Raul Julia played Captain Bison.
Okay, I'll give you a perfect example. Lou Diamond Phillips. What do they always use him for? Mexican Indian, American Indian. He's Filipino.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? The character you're thinking of, Elihu, that was trans, is the only other female character in the first Aliens movie, not the sequel.
The one who gets. Hold
yeah.
on. Yeah,
The
that
one.
That's
The
the other
grenade.
female I can remember.
The grenade in the air duct, right? Her?
No, that's Aliens, not Alien.
Oh, sorry.
And no, as far as anyone's concerned, Vasquez and what's his name, the white guy with the weird hair,
Yeah,
they were probably a couple.
yeah, you could kind of imply that, or they had a very close friendship, a bond. You can look at it either way.
But yeah, the what's her name that freaked out when the alien pops out of the guy's chest in the first one?
Yeah,
she was. Again, you couldn't really notice until you did the freeze frame on the director's cut version of the Laserdisc, that on her little biographic screen that they show, it says, born male, transitioned. That's basically it.
wasn't also the names on there for some of the people that died? Wasn't there a purpose to those names?
Well, originally the names were all just last names so that any gender could play them.
No. I meant like there were names on there that were getting the people who were popping off and dying. Their names were like after certain people.
I don't know.
I don't remember.
I'd have to look that. I watched the making of Aliens a couple of years ago. So anyway, going back to May the 4th, I thought about this for a while and I completely, I said I rather enjoyed season 3 of Mandalorian. Now, have you ever said you initially enjoyed something and then the longer you thought about it, the more you thought about it, you're like, actually, that sucked.
I'm sure there's times I've come across that, but I couldn't name anything offhand.
Now, what I mean is, like, for example, it's the Mandalorian was over after season 2. It should have been a 2-season thing. He completed his mission, he completed his charge, and then they kind of just like, no big deal. It was like all that buildup for 2 seasons, and you're like, oh, it was for nothing?
Yeah, I do think that they should, if they're going to do that, bringing back Grogu thing, it should not have happened in the Book of Boba Fett.
That was a terrible show.
I like the show, but it shouldn't have been called the Book of Boba Fett. It should have just been called Mandalorian Season 3.
I think the problem was they knew that they'd probably lose the audience if the Grogu wasn't in there. And they're probably right. By the way,
Well, again,
somebody
I don't have
tell
a problem with them bringing him back. I just wouldn't have done it the way they did.
I'm waiting for the Mandalorian Grogu movie.
Pascal to pick a franchise and stick with it for a little while.
Did you see that honest trailer for Fantastic Four?
Yes,
No.
I did.
Okay, that was funny. I'm in too many franchises. That was funny.
Yeah.
All of them are good. Well, not all of them. Wonder Woman. I love that. Mike, you have to see honest trailers for Fantastic Four. It's funny as fuck.
Which Fantastic Four movie do they talk about?
The newest one.
Okay.
No, I
funny.
love this part. He goes, "Hey, Ant-Man, that's Galactus."
Yo, mama.
It took me a quick second to figure out what they were doing, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, I know what he's doing now."
Yeah, I said that to you, right?
No, it popped up on my feed.
Oh, okay. I thought I sent it to you.
No,
And what's funny is I do subscribe to Honest Trailers. I just didn't see it.
No, I've been on Honest Trailers for years now. I love their shit. I like that. I'm in too many franchises. They're all good. Not all of them.
Oh,
Oh, you got a problem because I'm a girl? With the
yes, we
females?
do. Yes, we are. Yes.
It really was good.
Well, see, here's the thing. I haven't even seen the regular trailer really for Fantastic Four yet. So I'm, you know me. I try to avoid the trailers of movies I know I'm going to see.
Well, I can guarantee you this. I haven't seen the movie yet, but the trailer is going to be misleading, just like every single fucking Marvel project. Like, for instance, Thunderbolts. You got the trailer where you got Bucky on the road with that grenade launcher, right? And you go Red Guardian, go, is that Bucky? He doesn't use that in the movie. All he does is go as, it's Bucky. It wasn't a question. It was a statement of exaggeration. I hate Marvel trailers, man.
Well, here's the thing. I can already guess what Thunderbolts is going to be about.
And oh, by the way, hang on a second. By the way, if you see Thunder,
hold on. It's only because I haven't even seen all the trailers. It's because I saw someone or them talking about the Sentry character. And for those who don't know, Sentry is basically one of Marvel's versions of Superman.
Yep.
Yeah, Paul Jenkins upgraded him.
But what his most famous storyline in Marvel Comics was basically we find out that the Sentry, yeah, he's all powerful, but his mere existence causes an antithesis character and a villain for him to fight. And if he ever defeats that villain, he loses all his powers. So I guarantee you that's what this movie is going to be about. It's going to be the Thunderbolts. Yeah, they're getting together to try to beat the bad guy, which is this antithesis of Sentry. And at the end, Sentry's he's going to learn from being with this group, as dysfunctional as they are, that he has to sacrifice himself in one way or the other to give up his powers or to die so he can kill the villain. I guarantee you that's going to be the main plot.
I've seen Thunderbolts. I'm not going to spoil anything for you except for this. If you do not, and I repeat, if you do not want MCU spoilers, for the first time, do not watch the end credit scene. That's all I'm saying. Do not watch the end credit scene. If you want spoilers, watch it. If you don't want spoilers, leave as soon as the credits start.
Okay, I'm going to watch the end credit scene, but don't spoil it for me.
I'm not. That's all I'm saying is if you do not want spoilers, leave when the credits roll.
But you know what? I know that movie came out on May 2nd, but I forgot that it was already after May 2nd, even though today's May the 4th.
All right, guys, I'm going to head out. I have a bunch of stuff to do today.
All righty.
Okay.
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th
and with you.
Hey, this is not the nerd you're looking for.
Enjoy the Revenge of the 5th.
Right. Yeah, well, it's a Monday and in May, so it's going to be insane.
And as much as I'm drinking today, I guarantee you I'll be having the Revenge of the 5th.
La,
I'll just have
la,
Revenge of the Fifth because I've got to go to
la,
work.
la.
All right. I'll catch you guys later. Bye now.
Later.
Gander, you've been kind of quiet. What did you think about the Andor so far? Are you there?
PC?
You see.
Guess
I quite
not.
enjoy it. Personally, I quite enjoy it, but I think it's because I maybe have a little bit of a better understanding of that side of the world when it comes to those kind of things. Because one of the things in the war that we had during the war is the biggest thing is the tribalism, and there's no real central government there, and that's where you're running in with the rebellion right now. Is there's little pockets of rebellion popping up, but they don't have a central cohesive resistance unit yet. And that's what this kind of builds up on. It shows you kind of how they were able to get the rebellion organized, certain things like that. I just enjoy it.
Yeah, I hate to go political, but it kind of reminds me of the civil rights movement back in the 60s. Well, starting in the 50s and going into the 60s. In the 50s, it was a bunch of little groups all around the country. And it wasn't until, Malcolm X and MLK started really putting things together that all those little groups were able to get together as one large group.
Yeah.
And you got to remember, it was a religious organization that started it. And what's happening now? Religious organization? The Jedi.
It's kind of hard to really call them a religious organization now that we know that about the midichlorians actually exist.
Yeah, but I think that dude, the old dude, is a former Jedi.
I don't
The
know.
art
I
dealer.
haven't got to that point. You're talking about the guy with the ship that had the lightsaber stuff on the side?
No, the art dealer. I believe he's a former Jedi because of
That's what I'm
certain
talking about. That's
Yeah,
who I'm talking
because-
about.
Yeah,
I
the
just
one
don't
that had the
remember his name.
Skarsgård.
Yeah.
The Skarsgård character.
Yeah.
because that certain speech he gave, I think he's a former Jedi.
Well, it's possible, or maybe he was just a librarian or something.
No, because of the certain words he said. He's like, what did you give up? The first thing he said was calm. What's that? That's something that a Jedi did. All he did was adjectives. What a Jedi embodies. That's all he said. And he ended up saying, I have to use the tools of my enemy. Who's the tools of his enemy? He's using Sith shit. Empire stuff. The tools of his enemy. I believe he cut himself off from the Force and is a former Jedi.
Maybe. I don't know. As I said, I only watched the first episode. But yeah, the fact that he had the lightsaber weapons on there would be like lightsaber-esque weapons on his ship are kind of
In the
That
back
was
room,
really
in the
fun.
back room, he has a Jedi and a Sith holocron on his shelf.
Yep, I did see those.
Yeah, I saw those. I'm like, wait, what is that? What is
Wait,
that?
hold on. Is that in season 1 or is that in season 2? Because I don't remember seeing it in season 1.
They purposely put all kinds of stuff in the background.
Yeah, they even have the stones from the Fifth Element.
No, they have Indiana Jones stones from the Temple of Doom back there.
Oh, that's right, the
shelf.
Temple of Doom. Sorry, no, yeah.
Yeah.
I might have to look up some of the trivia on that because I didn't notice that stuff. But if they have the Fifth Element stones, that'll be freaking hilarious to me.
Yeah, they
I
have
love
all
that
kinds
movie.
of different sci-fi
Yeah.
stuff in there.
Padme's headdress.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of Easter eggs in that store.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
See,
I'm just hoping.
I'm
Let me.
enjoying Andor.
Hold on. I'm going to go back to episode 1 real quick. Sorry,
Okay.
episode 1 of Andor. I will say this, as somebody who played, the TIE Fighter and the X-Wing games back in the 90s, seeing the TIE advance was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
I do think it's a little overarmed because not only does it have the main blasters, it's got the wing blasters, it's got the little Gatling guns and missile launchers. Sorry, and the big disruptor cannon. I'm sorry, that's a little overarmed. I don't see where they would have a power plant that could handle that, all that in there. But
It was
I don't know.
probably experimental. Hola, Mrs. Cardenas.
How
Hola,
you
Mrs.
doing, babe?
Cardenas. Hey, NB, when Cassian took that experimental TIE fighter, does that scene kind of remind you of Independence Day? Oops.
Yes, yes, it
Yeah,
did.
okay, thank you.
I immediately thought that, and I was like, okay, we're flying like Will Smith right now.
Right to the bottom of my head, was like, oh shit.
Yeah,
And
its controls.
I'm almost. Well, go ahead, BC.
Its controls are very similar to the spaceship in Independence Day that Will Smith has to fly. Yeah.
Well, I do like the idea, the fact that they had the way they set up the controls on it was similar to the 2 joystick configuration for TIE Fighter, the video game. Because that to me was kind of a little Easter egg that I noticed right away as someone who played the games back in the day.
Hang on a second. Hang on a second, guys. Hang on a second. If Chris Knight is watching, the link is pinned in the chat. I'm still going to send it to you anyway. Sorry,
So
Chris
what was your
sent me a
favorite?
message.
What was your favorite TIE fighter?
Well, it's called a TIE Avenger. Is the name of that TIE fighter that he specifically stole.
Yeah, I thought I was wondering that too, PC. I was like, that doesn't look like a TIE Advance per se.
Well,
it looks a little bit, yeah,
sorry.
like PC said, it did look more like a TIE Avenger.
This was it was supposed to be the TIE, yes, it's the TIE Avenger essentially, but it's the TIE
Sorry,
Advance.
dude. I messed up.
One
I messed up.
something.
I messed up, guys. Sorry. Chris, kill me. Fuck. Never mind.
What's going on? Did you send him the wrong link?
Kinda.
Did you send him the one for the pre-show?
No, never mind. It's something else. Never mind. Lack of sleep. I'm stoned this morning. I'm just doing jack shit. I'm loading a new bowl, and I messed up. Sorry, dude. Continue, guys, the conversation. I'm loading a bowl.
Yeah, you might want to lay off of that Kashyyyk gold there.
Hey, I found a very good deal yesterday because I went to get some premium shake, and somehow they messed up, and the manager was there. She's like, I am so sorry about this. She gave me some extreme primo weed, and she said, this is normally $30, but I'll charge you half off. $15 for this. She was so nice. I'm like, thank you.
So, no, we were talking about Andor.
Yeah.
Okay. But yeah, I did like the TIE Fighter. I thought it looked really cool. But if you're talking about like my favorite TIE Fighter of all time, I know this might be lame. It's just the regular TIE Interceptor.
There's nothing wrong with that.
And the reasoning behind it is it's probably the best TIE Fighter from a real world standpoint in terms of weapon placement and visibility. Because all the other TIE Fighters, your peripheral vision is pretty much shot to hell. The only thing they have going for it is the fact that its main weapon is right underneath the cockpit, so you got a good line of sight. I've always hated the X-Wing because of... I'm sorry, I take it back. I don't hate the X-Wing. I hate the fact that the weapons are on the fucking wingtips of the X-Wing. Because that means they're so far apart, they have to be tilted inward just a little bit. Uh-oh. Is that Chris, or is that somebody else? It just says question marks into the guest thing. Say something in the private chat so we know who you are.
It's an idiot.
Well,
it's an idiot.
It's someone I shouldn't bring up because it just says I am me. I come in peace.
Yeah, it's an ego idiot. Someone with a big old huge ego.
All right, if you're gonna say it that way, then I'll bring him up. How you doing, man?
We're gonna treat you like a dog. Speak, speak.
Oh, yeah, okay. It took me a second to realize what that was.
That's Falcon, dude.
It is me.
How's it hanging, boss?
Yes. I am myself again.
Mentally, never.
Hold on. How's the new computer running for you?
Well, it's the same. I had this thing pretty much built 2 years ago, and just little things here and there caused problems. The biggest thing happened about 6 months ago when LDG and I went to go back to redo my sound. We got it where it was working. I was like, yes. And like 2 minutes into it, every driver on the computer went away. Yeah.
Even the pre-installed Windows drivers?
Well, yeah, everything went away. We tried to figure it out. We couldn't, and so we just did a full start from scratch on the operating system.
Well, like, so, did you accidentally erase a DLL folder or something, or what?
No, we're pretty sure it was probably a virus from something that was on there from like when my kids used it. So, you know what?
Well, at least what happened to you or what happened to me didn't happen to you, because I had my laptop stolen. I save up for months to get a new laptop, spend $1,000 on a new laptop, top of the line gaming laptop, and then that one gets stolen. But at the same time that one gets stolen, both my backup laptops are stolen.
Well, where did they get stolen from?
Someone broke into my van at the time and just stole a bunch of my stuff. And all of them were in the back of my van at the time. And to this day, I only have only one thing got returned at a pawn shop, but it was returned at a pawn shop in Texas.
The only time my truck and the only time my vehicle's ever been broken into was in California.
I can't say that.
Well, it's great to know the story. I'll tell them. The people that broke into my van were driving around in a truck with Georgia license plates. And of course, the only thing that they found, which still hasn't been returned to me because I got to wait for the FBI because they're the ones that got involved because it went across state lines, was the fact that, one of my laptops, not my good one, but one of my other ones was pawned in Texas. So what they said most likely happened was they were in California. They traveled from Georgia to California, probably spent all their money, and then started breaking into cars to gather enough stuff to pawn to get gas money to drive back to Georgia. But they have one of their names.
Okay.
No, I don't know what the name is. They won't tell me that.
No.
And I have to wait like another 4 or 5 months to request the laptop that was stolen back. And even then, it'll cost more in shipping to get it back from the FBI than I originally spent on it. So I don't know if I might do it just for the pictures.
I mean, did you have insurance?
No.
Okay.
Not on the laptops, no.
Well, no, if it's in your car should. It covers that too. It's supposed to. Unless you have liability. If you have liability, no.
Let's just say the insurance company, I'm already fighting over a broken mirror.
Okay.
But since it's Star Wars, we were talking about Andor. Okay, I only have seen episode 1 of season 2 so far, but I'm suffering from the same problem I had with the season 1. I keep falling asleep during the episodes.
I don't get that. I love the show. I have not watched the 3 episodes yet. I have to watch them here really quick. I gotta get off here.
Chris, I'm caught up on it, and yeah, I love the first season. I'm thrilled with the way the second season is going. I'm entertained personally. I mean,
I would say this, and I don't like using this term because it makes people feel like I'm insulting them. I'm not. It is smart Star Wars. And I don't mean that as you're stupid if you don't like it. That's not what I mean. I just mean it is not, I don't know. I like the idea that I know this is happening right next to Luke, Leia, and everybody else. And yet I don't have to see them because that's the truth. We're all right here, right now.
Don't get me wrong. I like the idea that it's, taking place in the same time period and we don't need to see those other characters. It's giving us glimpses into other aspects of the universe. I like that part.
What it's doing is it's showing you how the rebellion went from a ragtag group of just individuals on different planets to a complete.
Yeah, but
I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way.
Hold on. Star Wars Rebels did that too, and Star Wars Rebels did it better.
Yeah, Endor basically is not. It's the Empire's point of view of what happened. This has nothing to do. Yeah, you got a little bit of Rebels, but it's the entire Empire's point of view. It's like this is what we're doing. This is our perspective of the events.
No,
with Liberal Rebel interaction, like the regular Star Wars had Rebel, a little bit of Empire interaction. This is Empire's point of view with little Rebel interaction.
Here's how you need to think about this though. When it comes to Rebels, they did not join the rebellion because they were gonna fight for Lothal. And they were waiting for the Empire to come, and they never did because Death Star getting blown up and all that shit. Death Star being blown up by a bunch of fucking teenagers.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, Chris, no, I kind of stopped because a certain other person stole my idea and started doing it on their own, and I just got kind of pissed.
I have a quote to go with that. Fuck it. Who cares?
But the other reason I stopped was because my laptop was stolen, and then when I got my new laptop, my new laptop, I haven't even gotten back to my reviews. I've done one review this entire year.
Message me on Twitter and we'll talk.
All right.
But
so Chris, it's Star Wars Day. You don't have any Star Wars shirts on, or not even a big old look. I'll pick up. Come on, dude.
Actually, actually, over here I have one that JJ's sister sent me, and I have my Revenge of the Sith and other pictures over here. I do have one of JJ's old backgrounds up.
Okay, I see that.
So, you see that entire bookshelf back there? That's pretty much all Star Wars. So there you go.
Well, hold on.
Yeah, I'm yelling at Chris because he's the ultimate Star Wars nerd. I'm like, dude, where's your Star Wars shit? It's Star Wars Day. Oh, the walking camel.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better. That's better.
I got this. Hold on.
Nice.
I used to have that as a kid, man. Open it up, put the little troopers inside.
Yeah, if you, Chris, I don't know if you watched the last Vile review back in February.
He can't hear you. He cannot hear you.
The SS Vile, it's officially been crash landed on a planet. So I'm going to make this the new temporary ship once I get to that point in the storyline.
What, Phantom?
Yeah, but I'm going to paint it to look different. And in fact...
Does the ghost separate?
Well, yeah, the ghost is sold separate.
Oh.
In fact, since we're talking about that, let me do something real quick. And you can see what I'm talking about.
Nice
All right, did you see
music.
copyright free version. So that's one of the things I'm selling on the eBay store. It's the Ghost, the Phantom 1, the Phantom 2, and Hera's X-Wing. I can't tell what that is.
Well,
Wait, is that the Outrider?
The Outrider.
Shit.
Oh, hold on. Show that thing again so we can get a good look at it.
Oh, look at that Outrider.
Dude.
I hated that toy, but I love that toy at the same time.
Yeah, I mean, it spreads apart and everything. I have the Millennium Falcon back there. It's just, this is all stuff that, so I'm getting ready to move, and so the dungeon's going to be moving. But this is all stuff eventually I hope to have with some NASCAR cars and other things like that I want for my background. Because I don't mind having a green screen for a background, but I would also like to have a practical background too.
Yeah, that's why I would rather try to do live streams from the storage unit, because of the storage unit, you can see all the stuff I have for sale behind me.
Mm-hmm.
My issue is I can't smoke when I'm at the storage unit.
I need to talk to you about some stuff that I've been looking for. And
Hey, Chris, did you say? Hey, Chris, did you say NASCARs?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Podcasts.
You got a particular era, or you just anything?
Mostly the Earnhardt's, junior.
Junior or senior? Junior or senior? Oh, okay.
I don't.
Nobody calls Earnhardt Jr. They call him Junior.
Yeah.
That's what I said. Junior or senior?
No.
No. Well,
Earnhardt,
I will say this: people do say
Junior.
when they'll say the full name, they'll say Dale Earnhardt Jr.
No, they
will.
don't. They'll say Dale Earnhardt Jr., but he's always usually referred to as Junior.
Mm-hmm. So my wife, she has.
The name is Indiana.
One of those. Mostly 90s, or not 90s, like late 90s, 2000s, but like that. And I think she has a petty. Some of them are signed, things like that. And I've told her they need to be displayed because they're in boxes right now. But then again, this stuff is in boxes too. I mean, it's.
Well, my kids live with their mom in El Cajon, which is, of course, the home of Jimmy Johnson. So much so they actually live on the street that they call colloquially as Jimmy Johnson Boulevard.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I remember when Jimmy Johnson was going up for another championship, and Brad Keselowski was going to. I'm like, as much as I'd love to see you win 7, Jimmy, at some point, I want Brad to win one. So I was actually rooting for Brad that time.
Yeah.
And he won the championship, which was awesome.
Yeah, we don't.
Can you believe that Muniz got 17th place last race?
We don't really watch it anymore because it's just.
I'll tell you one thing, man. I'm really amazed at how Bubba Waltz is doing in the Wood Brothers car.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's running consistently, top 5s, top 10s. He's been close to winning a couple of times. I think he'll get there. And it's always good to see a Wood Brothers car back in the winning circle.
Well, I'll also admit I'm not a huge NASCAR fan anymore, despite the fact that my old cats were named Ernie and Rusty after Ernie Irvin and Rusty Wallace.
Yay, watching cars make all left turns.
Well, I think the
Mike,
problem is
hold on, let Chris talk. He's not on the channel often enough.
I think that the biggest problem for me is one, the constant rules changes. Used to be you knew what you were getting. I understand people. Here's the thing. It's kind of funny that you change a sport to where the winner of the race is a winner of the season. And they changed that. I'm fine with the playoffs, but they changed the playoffs quite a bit still. And the way the cars are designed, it's just not as dynamic as it used to be. Sometimes it is, but for let's say it's a 200 lap race. for 190 of those, everybody's just kind of you get the people in the back trying to move forward, but those front 10 are typically the same, and they try to just stay there until that last bit, and then they make the moves. And it's like, it's really difficult to watch something that's just not as dynamic as it used to.
I don't
Do you
know.
think-
The Martinsville
hold on,
race,
hold on.
the
I
last
have a question.
Martinsville race was
Martinsville.
pretty good.
No, I got a question
Martinsville's
for him. Does it matter to you that they've kind of drifted away from the stock part of stock car racing?
There
There's
hasn't
that
been
too.
stock and stock car in.
Well, again, the rules state that there's supposed to be the model that you can pull off the floor, but you can, you can do all the ports to the engine. You can take a governor off. You can do all this stuff. So there's still aspects of that, but then again, like MB said, it's been gone for a long time. That part of it's been gone for a long time. But
Well,
I think
again, I'm not as into it as you guys, but I know I've watched a few videos where people complain about the fact that.
I'll tell you the biggest.
Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'll tell you the biggest problem I have, and I know this is going to sound stupid. I don't smoke. I do drink. It's fine, whatever. They have taken the parts that are the grassroots of NASCAR out of it. You don't see cigarette sponsors anymore. You don't see as many alcohol sponsors anymore. And they turn. It's almost like what Vegas did at one point and tried to turn themselves into a kids thing. Or let's get women into the sports. And you know what? If women like NASCAR, great.
My mom
I'm not
loves
against
NASCAR.
that. I know. I'm not against that. I just don't like the idea of having to change a sport to bring people in.
I will say this. One of the things I did like about the playoff systems, and yes, I know they've been doing a lot of work with this over the last decade. And yeah, I get it. It is frustrating. It has been frustrating. That's actually why I got out of it for a little while after Jimmy Johnson retired, after several of my favorite drivers had retired. And, but I do like the fact that the final race is going to decide the winner. But the whole point of the matter is you have to get through the playoffs to be the top two left. And the thing is, it makes the final race actually exciting because that was a big thing. I mean, think about it. Nobody ever cared about who won Homestead.
No.
Nobody cared about who won Homestead. Nobody remembers who wins Homestead because that's where the champion's crowned. What's been happening most of the time? The winner of the race has been the guy who's the champion.
Well, I
So
get
that is a lot more
I
exciting.
get that, but here's the thing. Somebody who, let's say, okay, I don't know how many races there are anymore. What, 25?
I don't have a clue.
Hold on.
I know that most racing games back in the early 2000s had about 22 races, but I think that also may have had to do with storage limitations.
36.
23.
36 it says. I just looked it up. But wait, okay, regular season consists of 26. Okay, so it is 26 regular season. All right.
Yeah.
Let's say a guy wins 18 of those. Well, he's going to the playoffs, you know it. And then he goes in, and I know this is ridiculous. And as I say it, I know it's ridiculous because baseball, football, any of these sports has the same problem. Let's say you win 18 of the 26. You get in there, and you get in fourth place. Eventually, you're going to be out. But you had a spectacular season, and then it means nothing really once you get to the playoffs. I think somebody who wins, I think whenever the last time I really paid attention to it, they said if you win 5 races in a season, you're guaranteed to get into the playoffs.
But like you said,
It's like
every sport has shifted to that, though. Every one.
They have.
NBA, all of them have shifted to. It doesn't matter who has the best season,
but
because
of all the sports, NASCAR is the most unpredictable because here's the thing: whether or not you want to admit it or not, there are still people who hold grudges in NASCAR. There are still rivalries, and there are still people who may not, quote unquote, purposely wreck or affect people, but it is the most unpredictable sport because you have a 200-mile-an-hour car going around a track, and it is the most unpredictable sport to allow a playoff system. Most sports.
Do you think they should go back? Pardon me. Go back to the point system that they had.
I don't know. I don't know what the answer is because I understand what MB is saying and I understand the reason why they put the playoff system in. I think first off, if anything, that if you win, I guess what I would say is if you win X amount of races in a season, that it should be an automatic that yes, you go to the playoffs, but you are guaranteed into the final race as a possible champion.
Now, Chris,
you don't want the NBA system, do you? Where you have this mini tournament in the middle of the season where you have a whatever champion they call
Yeah,
that.
I know.
All right, Mike,
hang on. Can I say something? I've been quiet all this time. Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Okay, I think the whole system should be basically like how many races? You said there's 32 races, right, Chris?
26 before the playoffs.
Okay, 26 races. So so that's about 13, 14 extra after the playoffs. So the first 26 races should be the first top 10 contenders. If you make the first top 10 in all those races, you qualify. If you do not make the first top, hang on. If you do not make, can I finish, guys? If you do not make the first top 10, you're out of the season. Only the first top 10 of those first 26 races should make the final season of the races. If you come in 15th or 20th or 30th place, you should not even qualify for the finals. You suck. Only the first top 10.
They already have that. They have it where the top 16 qualify.
Yeah, but how about
if you come in 30th, you shouldn't even be in the finals because you suck.
How about if you don't win a race, it's based on your average placing for the season?
Well, do you remember, Chris, that this is where I was going? The whole point of why they implemented this, they started the championship stuff was because, and I'm sorry to say, it's the fans who caused this, because they threw a hissy fit when Matt Kenseth won the championship, only won one race out of the entire year, but just ran consistent enough to get enough points.
That's what I'm saying.
He locked up the championship.
If somebody who had won 4 races that season, I think, again, pick a number, say 4, because, I mean, what's the average amount of, what's like the ungodly number of races to win in a season? Probably 4 or 5.
Petty won 10 in a row, but that was long ago.
I understand. I'm not talking about then. I'm talking about now.
4. If you're a good driver, about 4.
Anybody who wins 4 races in this season is guaranteed a spot to win the championship at the end of the season, whether or not they qualify it for the first playoff spots.
See, here's how it works in the the first you got the 16 that go to the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
If you win a race, you're pretty much guaranteed to be in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And then you have, that's why they have the stage points. And that's why they have this. Well, actually, the stage points make it even more exciting because even if you know you're not going to be the guy getting the stage win, it makes those guys trying to get those points a lot more exciting in those.
I understand it. It's just it's a convoluted system in a sense.
Well, anyways, guys, I mean it is.
I have to run, but
well,
I will try.
It's a good time
next week.
It's every week I do this.
That's what I thought. Okay, I will try to be on next week for sure.
So you go ahead and say goodbye to everybody, and during that we'll take a break from our sponsor.
Avoid super battle droids, but not the super dealers at SD GameSwap.
All right, and later, Chris.
And we see an empty chair for NB.
Well, I'm not a huge NASCAR fan.
Yeah, you see my comment?
Well, I may have brought that up because most of my NASCAR knowledge comes actually from playing video games of NASCAR, and the point system is how the video games work. So, yeah, and unlike if you're gonna go back to the pod racing thing, the pod racing video game, there was a kind of point system involved, but you basically had to get first every single freaking race to continue.
Yeah, I didn't like the pod racing game. It's just another racing game. Like, okay, same trope.
Oh, no. To this day, I don't know. I take that back. I don't know if it's to this day, but when it came out, it was actually the fastest racing game in existence.
Which one was that?
Star Wars
Pod
Episode
racing.
1 Racer.
Pod racing. You know, with the crowd, we were all colored toothpicks.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about the game. And plus, the Nintendo 64 version had a neat little Easter egg with the controllers. If you had 4 controllers, you could plug all 4 controllers in, and the first player and third player controllers could be used at a single point to use both joysticks to race closer to how they actually had it set up in the movie.
All right.
So
I can see Lai who said this is Star Wars Day. I have a question. What was your guys' overall opinion of Skeleton Crew?
I liked it. I liked it a lot.
It was good.
I thought it was a cute story.
Poor Neil. All he wanted to do was go home.
I'll be honest with you. I liked it more than Andor.
Character. He was the one who was the most level-headed.
I know, poor Neil. All he wanted to do was go home.
But no.
Hey, be with his brother.
In all honesty, I think it was better than Andor. I didn't fall asleep once during a single episode.
Like Prodigy.
I like the fact that the storyline was actually made sense. And I was like, okay, I can work with this.
I mean, to go back to Andor, I'm not kidding. I think every single episode, there is a good solid 10 minutes that could be cut from every single episode, and you would not miss a goddamn thing.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the episodes are too long, I think. I mean, they just go on forever. In the first episode of season 2, there was this near the end of the episode, they got the jungle scenes followed by the Empire scenes, and I'm like, you could have easily combined, not combined, but instead of going back and forth the way they did, which was cutting away from anything interesting every single fucking time, they could have done each one and turn it into 2 5-minute scenes as opposed to a fucking 20-minute drag.
Hey, not Ryan Johnson, mostly live.
But yeah, Skeleton Crew I thought was fun, entertaining, heartwarming. I kind of like how, each of the kids had their little trope that, I mean, the little typical, not trope, sorry, archetype.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, I can tell who everybody is on this. And I mean, yeah, if you're on an entirely peaceful world and stuff like that, and you don't even know the war happened and everything just goes the way it does. I mean, I'm going to be honest. I thought it was interesting seeing Star Wars Suburbia.
Yeah.
And I heard people bitching about it. I'm like, what? You don't think they have the burbs in Star Wars somewhere?
Every planet is not like Coruscant, okay?
That's
or Hoth or Tatooine. Come on. There's neighborhoods. Hello.
It's like not everything is like Coruscant, but not everything's like freaking Tatooine.
All right. Sorry. Andor. Shit, I can't remember the name of the planet. Leia's planet. Alderaan. Yeah.
Alderaan.
Yeah, where you see fields and everything, or Naboo, fields and palaces. No, there are neighborhoods around there.
this place just happens to look like a little suburbia. And I was
kind of like Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, James Gunn's version of a neighborhood. That's what it reminded me of.
Well, when I first saw it, I was like, oh, that's, and I heard people bitching about it. I'm like, oh, go fuck yourselves. I said, and I swear to God, I started, this is why I've left so many channels. I'm like, you've all just become as bad as the people you were bitching about the last 10 years. I'm like, I want no part of this shit.
And you have to still watch it to complain. Like, really?
I don't understand that hate watching thing. Well, actually, I get it because some of these guys make a lot of money off of it.
I'll be honest. I don't hate Andor. Okay, I just find it slow and boring. And I'll be, in all honesty, I think both the Mandalorian, or not both, but Ahsoka, Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, and Skeleton Crew were all better than it.
See, my thing with Ahsoka is it was supposed to be like a 6-episode miniseries. It wasn't supposed to be a first season. And then we get to the end of the second episode. I felt cheated because I'm like, are you telling me that you just spent 2 episodes going over the epilogue from Rebels?
I didn't have a problem with that as much.
I did.
My problem was the fact that they ended it on such a cliffhanger. And unfortunately, because they did that and what's his name passed away, we're not going to see a conclusion to his story. And that kind of irks me.
Well, here's the thing that irked me is that whole scene at the very end of episode 2 is supposed to mirror the epilogue from Rebels, from the end of Rebels. Yet they couldn't get the costumes, or what they did right. She didn't have her helmet on when she walked up to her right away. And Ahsoka was all in that white thing with that white robe with the freaking staff. It's like, okay, here we go. Can't even remember your own goddamn fucking shit you wrote. Or your own characters that you created.
It's a little bit of bad continuity, but
for those first 2 episodes, because we got 4 episodes left, and I'm like, okay, here we go. And yeah, they're going to replace the guy. They're going to have to replace him. I did like the scene. I did like seeing Anakin and her together. That was kind of cool.
I did like that, but again, kind of like Andor, I think part of that, the search and everything, took a little too long. I don't know. Maybe I think other than Skeleton Crew and Book of Boba Fett and Mandalorian, I think they're just adding too much slow scene, or sorry, too many slow scenes. And maybe that's more realistic for real life, but it's not Star Wars. Star Wars isn't supposed to be real life to the most part.
No, it happened a long time ago.
In a galaxy far, far away.
Yeah.
No, at the rate that they're being so slow, it's more of it happened a long time ago.
No, I think one of their issues is they've kind of like a lot of things, they oversaturated the market with Star Wars, and that wasn't a good thing, because if you take something special and just turn it into another IP that can be just, I don't know what the right word is, bastardized, then it loses its magic. Like, okay, take for example what you said to me, Mike, because I actually noticed this thing here too for some of the channels I watch. Remember, you had told me that Lower Decks had basically move Discovery to another timeline or something.
Yeah, the final episode kind of did that.
Yeah, and there was this thing. I was like, okay. And the funny part was, I was looking at a few other people. Says, it goes, yeah, people heard about that, and it's like, where are the fans saying yes? Where are the people who are pissed about this? And he's kind of like, well, the old fans just don't care anymore. It's like, do what you want with Star Trek, and we don't care anymore. It's like, we got what we got. Which, by the way, I'm finally on the good season of Star Trek TNG.
Have you seen the trailer for Strange New Worlds yet?
No, did it finally drop?
Yeah, it dropped a couple weeks ago.
I've been a little busy.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen
on my feed.
I'll be honest, I don't think I've seen an episode of Strange New World since the musical episode.
Okay, there's a funny SpongeBob Strange New Worlds crossover trailer out. Have you seen that?
That I saw, and I thought it was very cute, and I didn't hate it, despite that I know some people really hated it.
I hated it because the captain wasn't cooking.
Yeah, I've got a lane line in my house. I need it for where I live.
Well, let's see. And not right, Johnson. There's a big difference between a slow burn and so slow I keep falling asleep during the frickin' episodes. And I would definitely disagree with you. There's a lot of musical episodes that I've enjoyed over the years. The Buffy the Vampire Slayer is probably the pinnacle of musical episodes. Scrubs had a great one.
That's what everybody's been trying to do since then.
And I will say this, and I've said it before, the Strange New Worlds musical episode would have been completely forgiven and accepted as a great piece of Star Trek lore and everything if they had done one change. If at the end of the episode you have John Delancey standing in space with his son, Q Jr., and Q Jr. just looking at his dad going, why? And Q looking back at him saying, why not? That would have made the entire episode worth it.
That would have made a lot more sense.
Yeah. I mean, hell, the whole ending thing of my channel lately, or since that episode came out, that works because of the musical episode.
Ahura, hail the Klingons. Oh, hail the Klingons, ahura.
And that's why so many of those are Klingon based. It's because there's so many times Klingons have friggin' sung inside the damn show or video games for one of those. One of those is from the game, and Elihu recently reposted it, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, I like that version. I was trying to find the alternate. Sorry, I was trying to find the alternate K-pop version because there was actually two versions: a K-pop and a rock version of the Klingons. The rock version is out there. I've seen it once. I cannot find it again. I'm still looking for it.
Well, there's a few more I could add to that. I just don't have time, especially since the computer that I did those on originally got stolen, so I'd have to remake everything from scratch. But I have a few more ideas.
Oh, I didn't clean my pipe. Oh, Sorry, pipe is ashy.
Well, I'm about to light up another one too, because
Jesus
I need
Christ,
my nicotine.
making another Final Destination movie.
I'm not interested in those.
I like the Final Destination series, and they're bringing back Tony Todd, so screw it. I say go for it.
I still say the second one was the scariest because I still stay as far away from log trucks as I can.
Oh, ha, ha, ha.
NB,
No, I'm
did you
not
see?
joking.
Hold on. NB, have you seen the meme where
Yes.
someone posted a video of their behind a tow truck that's towing a cyber truck?
No, I didn't see that one.
They were literally going, "Oh my God, something worse than Final Destination 2."
Lame.
I thought it was funny as all hell. A NASCAR style, so you want another space race. You know, if they did a space race with Strange New Worlds, I want to see as one of the alien ships involved to be the ship that Sam Carter and what's his name flew in the Stargate episode. Because I think that'd be funny as all hell. Nice little
Which
crossover, including that ship.
I wonder if this Lilo and Stitch movie is going to do good.
It's supposed to be like How I Trained Your Dragon. It's supposed to be an entire redone of the cartoon, but in live action.
I don't know.
It's not.
A lot of people I know that seem to be really into it. So even though I don't really care, to be honest, I didn't really watch the first one.
I just wish Disney would stop remaking the cartoon in live action. If you can do live action, do a new storyline at least. Come on.
Or from a different perspective, yeah, I'd say that.
Yeah, we know about Lilo and Stitch. We know about How to Train Your Dragon. Stop. It looks good, but stop redoing the cartoon in live action. You fucked up with Lion King, okay? Yes, it's par on par, frame for frame, but you fucked up because nobody liked it.
Yeah.
Original storylines will work better.
Oh God, I'm tired. I might have to take a nap. Maybe end the stream a little early so I can take a nap before I go to work.
I still got to watch episode 3 of Andor, but I'm going to watch Doctor Who first.
Oh, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade's getting a re-release.
So is Dogma, and I want to go see Dogma in the theaters.
Yeah, Jason and Kevin are doing appearances at certain theaters.
Oh, no wonder he saw God, man. He's rocking the ganj.
And don't forget, at the very end, there are still pages left in the View Askew Universe book.
It goes, it's Aramaic. Rufus, see you in 2 years. Love Jesus. See, he told me when my number was up. Took all the flavor out of those years. Now, this F1 movie, I do not see it doing too well in America, but since F1 is the pinnacle of motor racing around the world, I think it'll do well internationally.
Probably. I mean, especially in Europe. I mean, that's where most of F1 is.
No, it's not. It's actually quite all over. Oh, yeah, Europe per se, but they also have the Vegas race.
That's new. They mainly had it in Spain, but Vegas is brand new.
Plus, from what I understand, a lot of apparently the Vegas race is not very popular amongst drivers.
No, they don't like it. The locals don't like it. The tourists don't like it. Yeah, casinos are complaining that they lost a lot of revenue because people are having a hard time crossing the street to get to their casino when they're stuck on the other side because of the race.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you cannot stop. People are stuck on the bridges, and you try to watch the race. They would basically shove you away from the glass. Then they had the things. Then they cover the glass up. People were still trying to watch the race, and people are still getting shoved away and arrested and getting citations. Yeah, people hated the race.
Well, I was going to comment to it. Not Rain Johnson posted. That's one of the reasons I like bad horror movies is because you can make a horror movie on the cheap, so you can take a lot of risks that you can't normally take in a lot of other genres.
Blair Witch.
So, yeah, Blair Witch, Us, Get Out, Nope. Hell, even Last of Us is technically a horror. You know, Night of the Living Dead. You can use each of those any of those genres within horror. You can use to tell other stories. Like a slasher can be both. You can have a political slasher. You can have a rape slasher or rape allegory slasher. You can have, you know, each genre within horror can be done in different ways, and that's what makes it special. You can have your straight up monsters. You could have your zombies, but even your zombie movie could be a heist movie. It could be a war movie. It could be, you know, a love story. That's what's great about horror that other genres don't seem to get very easily.
Okay, Mike, since you mentioned you like bad horror movies, you'll like this. I think you'll probably like this. After her mother and son get into a car wreck, they soon become hunted by Bambi, a mutated, grief-stricken deer on a deadly rampage seeking revenge for the death of his mother.
I definitely like it. I like that idea.
Bambi, the Reckoning. That's what it's called, Bambi, the Reckoning.
Yeah, but Gaston was the one that killed Bambi's mom. Disney lore, come on.
That is highly unlikely. Do you know why, Elihu?
Why?
Because Beauty and the Beast takes place in France. Bambi takes place in North America.
Duh.
He could have came to North America and go hunting.
No, he couldn't, because Beauty and the Beast takes place in the 16th century.
You know, something. This is how bad Hollywood's going right now. They are literally re-releasing movies for like their 75th, 50th, 30th anniversary. I was like, wow.
For me, to me, they're doing that because they're trying to cash in on the nostalgia without not being able to produce a new film for that franchise.
Yeah, Disney is 70 years old. Well,
Disneyland is
70 years old.
The only movie I see here so far that I'm interested in is Nobody 2.
Is what?
Nobody 2.
What about Now You See Me, Now You Don't?
The first one. And one horror movie that I need to go back and watch is freaking Smile 2. I haven't seen it yet. I really like the first one.
Okay, this is up your alley, Mike.
Stop looking at your reflection, dude.
They are doing a remake of Toxic Avengers.
Yes, with Peter Dinklage.
I saw that. I'm very hesitant about it because I think I said this on another stream. Toxic Avenger, to me, to be a faithful adaptation or faithful remake, needs to have at least 4 extremely gory death scenes and at least 1 gratuitous nude scene.
Yes, I agree.
Because if it doesn't have those things, it's not a Toxic Avenger movie. Period. I'm sorry.
I got you, Lojo.
What was that movie? What was that? The Toxic Avengers cartoon. Toxic Avengers, they're gross, but they still get girls.
That was the era of making cartoons for R-rated movies, which I never understood.
I know. It was so funny back in that day. It's like Aliens comes out, and it's like all of a sudden you've got all these toys for kids from an R-rated movie.
The Rambo cartoon, the RoboCop cartoon, and I mean the first RoboCop cartoon. So the one where it was a really bad sequel to RoboCop 1.
Tron Ares. What's that about?
I don't know much about that one, but I already, what I have heard about it, I like, and I want to go see it, other than the fact that it's not a continuation of Tron Legacy. I'd rather it be a continuation of Tron Legacy. But what's interesting, you know how you said earlier, you ever a movie that you liked, but as you watch it, you start to hate it more and more?
Nah, just more. I don't think I would say I hate it. You just realize it wasn't near as good as you originally thought it was, and it was actually bad.
Tron Legacy kind of did that to me. When I first liked it, or when I first watched it, I liked it. Then the next couple of times I saw it, I was like, no, this is actually kind of stupid. It's kind of lame. And then I rewatched it again after watching Tron, and I liked it again. It was just kind of weird. It's like maybe it just hit me at the wrong time for the other times or the middle times I watched it. But I think watching it as a film by itself, it really maybe isn't as good as I remember. But if you're watching it right after Tron 1, it's much better.
Are you talking about the new Tron movie?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I definitely would say I'm looking forward to the new Tron movie.
80s arcade style comes to live action 2025. Are they doing pixels in a better way?
Oh man, I'm beat. I didn't get to sleep till like 4 a.m.
Large cup of coffee.
Yeah, well, you gotta understand, I had about a couple days where I didn't sleep at all, and with the weather around here and swelling in the feet right now, actually, thankfully, since the draining, it hasn't been that bad.
Well, I think after this cigar, I might end the stream a little bit early, even though it's the 25th or 250th episode. Just because I might need to take a nap. I'm sorry, guys, but
well, you got to work a 10-hour shift, man.
Let's see. Last thing we'll do before the Star Wars, or before we end the stream, since it is May the 4th, let's all just say, what is the best Star Wars movie so far, and what is the worst Star Wars movie so far, in your opinion? And MB, I'll let you go first.
Best Return of the Jedi, worst Phantom Menace.
Okay, do you want to go into a little bit why?
I'm kind of into book kind of guy.
Okay. What about you, Elihu?
Empire Strikes Back. The bad guys win. I'm like, that is unsuspected for me as a kid, okay? I was never, as a kid, I'm like, the bad guys won? That's one reason why it's one of my favorite ones. Worst, Rise of Skywalker. And for obvious reasons.
Thinking about those.
Dude, he said Star Wars movie. It's a Star Wars movie.
Oh, okay. Well, the worst would be Rise of Skywalker, definitely.
Like if you said Star Trek, I would say Section 31.
Sorry, I don't tend to count those in my head.
Okay. The best Star Wars movie, in my opinion, I agree with Elihu, Empire Strikes Back. To me, it has the tightest story. You don't really need it to cut anything out too much. Even though Luke is supposed to be training, every scene is needed. The opening battle was, interesting and new. So yeah, I liked Empire Strikes Back, and I would say it's the only one of the special edition trilogy that I would say is improved massively over the original.
The walking Jabba the Hutt in the cargo bay scene.
Yeah, that did not need to happen for the A New Hope. But almost everything they added to Almost everything they added to Empire Strikes Back just was a straight up improvement.
Yeah.
One of the things, one of the reasons, like I said, I'm a kind of a bookend guy. I always kind of enjoy the ending of a story. One of the things I would say is if you look at the way Return of the Jedi went and you see that scene and you're going through that fight scene with Vader and Luke, and you notice they're both using the same force tactic. They're both trying to get the other one to turn to Luke's trying to get him to turn back, and Vader's trying to get him to turn to the dark side. So it's kind of a mental game. And at the end, Vader gets him.
Okay, and for me, and this, everyone else is going to argue this point probably, but to me, the worst Star Wars movie of all time, including the Ewok movies and including the sequel trilogies,
And the holiday
is
special.
Solo. I hate Solo.
Wow, worse than the Ewoks, worse than the holiday special?
Worse than the holiday special, worse than the Ewok movies. I hate Solo. It is the only one I can genuinely say I did not enjoy at all.
I tried to watch those Ewok movies again on Disney Plus, and I'm like, holy shit, this is some terrible acting.
Yeah.
It really is, but because they were the only Star Wars movie that was able to be shown on TV.
Yeah.
I watched them so many times as a kid. I can't help but watch those with my nostalgia glasses on. I 100% admit that. But Solo, it explained things that didn't need to be explained.
Hard to actually explain that. Come on.
Yeah.
How do you,
and I'm sorry, basically the Kessel Run being essentially Scylla and Charybdis of fucking Star Wars. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because the parsec is a measure of time, not space. Yeah. Space, not time.
No, it's the other way around. Parsec is a measure of space, not time.
Space, not time. Yeah, that's what it says. Space, not time.
Any other explanation that has existed in Star Wars lore would have been better than what they came up with.
I don't know. My wife and I very much enjoyed it.
I didn't enjoy it. I thought the characters ran flat. I thought Woody Harrelson's character was completely useless and wasted. I mean, I just did not enjoy it. I'm sorry.
What do you got to be sorry about? You didn't like it. Big deal.
I just know so many people would you'd say that's worse than the sequel trilogy? Yes, it is. It's worse than the sequel trilogy in my mind.
I keep the sequel trilogy out of my head, so I don't think much of them. Okay, let's put it this way. I cannot tell you how many times I've watched episodes 1 through 6. I can tell you exactly how many times I have watched each of the sequel movies. The Force Awakens twice, Last Jedi twice, Rise of Skywalker once.
Dude, I lost count. I don't know how many times I watched Star Wars movies.
No, but that's the only
way. Yeah, basically though, for me it's the same thing, NB. If you add up all the sequel trilogy movies, I've watched them 7 times. 3 for the first, 2 for the other 2. And it's not because I don't like them, it's just because, to me, they're not connected to anything else that's going on in the Star Wars universe, and I rewatch stuff all the freaking time. Like, when Last of Us Season 2 came out, it hasn't come out yet, has it?
Yes, it has.
Yes, it has.
3.
All right, so I rewatched Season 1. When, any of the Star Wars movies that just came out, or when Skeleton Crew came out, I rewatched Book of Boba Fett, Mandalorian, and Ahsoka.
See,
when Ahsoka was coming out, I rewatched Rebels. Go ahead.
I want to correct what I said. I remember that I've only seen one Star Wars movies one time, and that was the last one. I forgot the name of it.
So not Ryan Johnson. He's waiting on the reactions from Last of Us Season 2 fan reaction, I guess, from people who played the game. I didn't play the second game. I rarely play games.
Other than testing it when I was selling it, I never really played the second game.
I'm not even finished with the second game yet, so I haven't even seen the show.
But right now, I'm watching The Good Doctor because one of my kids is watching it, and I thought, I might as well watch it too.
Yeah, I remember
so
I
haven't watched Once Upon a Time yet.
My wife's watching that right now.
And I literally only watched Andor because when I'm in Mexico, I can't watch Hulu because it's blocked in Mexico.
That's what they make VPNs for.
Sir, what?
That's what they make VPNs for.
No, even if you use a VPN, it for some reason it's still blocked. They use something different than Netflix does. But on that note, I'm going to go ahead and end the stream because I'm going to take a nap. So let me.
They need to be my housemaid.
Say that again.
There's a movie here called The Housemaid with Sydney Sweeney. I'm like, she can be my housemaid.
I think it's based on the book series.
I don't know anything about it. I'm just
as a book vendor for Walmart. I've been packing them out for years.
Dumbass.
Before you end, I want to remind everybody that if you have clear skies in the early mornings, the Aquarius meteor shower happens. Look east before dawn. And nighttime, that little red dot under the moon, that's Mars. The little red dot to the top right of it is Jupiter.
Well, it's actually cloudy and rainy here, so I'll be SOL.
Okay.
So, all right.
Here. All right.
I think we just need to end with everyone's favorite.
More singing, more voices. Hail the Klingons, hoorah! Open Klingon style. Klingon style. Open Klingon style. Klingon style. Open Klingon style. Hey, sexy Klingon style. Open Klingon style. Hey, sexy Klingon style.
All right. I will see you guys next week. Anything you want to end with, Elio?
Yes, I'm just glad that California officially recognizes May 4th as Star Wars Day. Legislation, it's law.
Well, may the world's fourth largest economy have the force with it.
Yes, this is not the idiot you're looking for.
All right, later, folkses.
Later, weirdos.
Oh, wait, hold on. I forgot one thing. I screwed up. Hold on.
Bang, bang?
No.
Buy something at SD GameSwap, or I'm going to put all of you in a cargo container and transport you to the Borg.
There we go. Now I can end the stream. Later, folkses.
Bye.